Welcome to another edition of the Metal Voice. We got a very special striker interview.
Yes, Alan went kamikaze style interview.
Grabbed him at the show. Great interview, great show. But first, let's get into a new release by Queensryche.
Queensryche.
Well, which one?
Well,
which one is this one? The other one.
The other one.
The other Queensryche.
Not that one, the other one.
Everybody. So it's Queensryche and Queensryche.
Queensryche.
It's getting confusing.
Yeah. The album is called Queensryche.
Fronted by Todd La Torre.
La Torre.
Yeah.
So, Alan, I mean, so I'm listening to this album.
Right, good.
Very excited. I heard the song Redemption.
People have been waiting for it, yeah.
It's, and people were very excited. I mean, it sounds, this album is kind of going back old school Queensryche. I mean, you're looking at the EP days. A little more melodic, a little more melodicer than the EP days. It's a very short album. It's only something like 40-something minutes long, but maybe it's better that way. You know how we talk about sometimes it's better to have...
You'd like killer tracks.
Killer tracks.
Quantity over volume is
exactly. So, I mean, I was expecting probably killer tracks like Redemption throughout the whole album. I think it is still a great album. Maybe I was a little disappointed because it sounded generic sometimes. I mean, are they really a tribute band to Queensryche, or are they actually... reinventing the wheel? I don't know.
Queensryche A.
And the more times I listen to this album, the more times I do like it. So that's the bonus there. Then there's the argument: who's better, Jeff Tate or Queensryche, or Queensryche and Jeff Tate and Queensryche's version of Jeff? I mean,
well, basically, the only thing we have to look at is frequency unknown in this album. If people need to compare, maybe we're beyond that point. Maybe there's no sense comparing anymore until this is settled once and for all.
I got to say one thing though. I mean, as much as I like Todd, the new singer, I think his voice it's similar to Jeff, and you could see that he's been influenced by Jeff, but at the same time he's distinct enough.
Or they've asked him to be influenced by Jeff.
No, I think he was one of his influences growing up. He has his own distinct sound, which is a plus. It's kind of like Accept. You have Udo, right, and you have Mark. Mark sounds like Udo, but he brings his own flavor to it. And I think that's the same way with Todd. He brings a new flavor to Queensryche.
Obviously, even Camelot, we can talk about Camelot too. I mean, when you're going to get a replacement singer, you're not going to go with somebody that's been singing death metal onto something. You got this guy, somebody in the same vein.
Silent lucidity, silent lucidity.
The other one would be Stu with Iced Earth, the same kind of thing.
That's right.
He brings his own flavor. He's got his own background, but you can see where the core of it is they want to kind of stay true to the music and the history of the band. So
definitely worth picking up. Something like 8.5 out of 10, 8.8 out of 10. Is it? You know what it is? They need to do another album together. They've been together. It hasn't been a lot of time that they've been together.
That's right.
They need to know each other as musicians, and I think their next album will be that monumental Queensryche album.
You got the core group. I've seen some videos of them playing live, and you can hear the sound. Those three members is the Queen. They are the Queensryche sound. So now you've adding these other players, and is it the Queensryche? Is it?
What is these?
That's it.
Queensryche?
Hopefully that'll be resolved soon, because it's leading to a lot of confusion and even some frustration on the fans' parts.
So I mean, where are they with the lawsuits? Have you heard about the lawsuits?
It's when I spoke to Jeff Tate, he was hoping by November this would all be settled, because I don't think it's an ideal situation for either group at this point.
Yeah, and from what I'm reading is basically what's going to happen. It's going to be more of a corporate decision. One party is going to have to pay the other party for the name. So let's say Jeff wants to keep the name, then he's going to have to write out a check for, I don't know, X amount of dollars to have that name, or vice versa. The band's going to have to pay Jeff, or vice versa, however it works.
Stay tuned for that. Now let's get right into Striker, guys. Striker's a young Canadian band, made some of our top 10 Canadian band lists and top 10 albums lists. So they're out on tour presently with another Canadian band called Diamonds.
Yes.
And last night was with Warsenal.
So
again, they're out there. They're doing it like old school, man. You're out there playing to small crowds. I saw 4 bands. I think it was cost me $12. So I don't know what their cut was, but if it covers their pizza and beer. But then again, when you're 20, that's all you need, right? Pizza, beer, music, and maybe if you get a girl, that's like the bonus of it all. So they're out there having a blast. It was a great show. Armed to the Teeth. We both adore that album. We think it's one of the strongest albums of last year.
Produced by Michael Wagner.
Wagner, Double Trouble, Udo.
probably, I mean, it's you put this album on, you go, wow, this is definitely one of the best albums of the decade.
Well, I dragged a few friends down there trying to get them in. One of them said, "Oh, I'll go with you. Got nothing to do." And he walked out there with his eyes wide open and say, "Man!" And then we put the CD in, bought it at the show, and he's like, "This is quality stuff." So. Again, hats off to them. They're doing it old school, and as you can see in the interview, they'll talk about what it is to be a young touring band these days.
So let's watch the interview. Alan, kamikaze style. We didn't have the big crew set up this time around. Alan just grabbed his phone, did a quick interview, and here it is.
We're here, kamikaze style, here with the Metal Boys with Striker. Yeah! So here we go, guys. Canadian tour. What's going on? What's happening right now?
Drinking a lot of beer, having a good time, playing heavy metal music.
There you go. So what is it night for night? And what, you got a couple of days off? This is a pretty relentless schedule, or?
Yeah, the tour we booked finally this time. Last Canadian tour was a little loose. We had a lot of time off. Time off is too much beer drinking and too much money. So we have a really tight tour this time, and pretty much just been playing nonstop. And having lots of fun.
There you go.
I think we did about 25 shows in 5 weeks or so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 25, 26.
So we got Canadians here, Striker. Now guys, historically guys, Canadian bands had to go to the States, going back to the Guess Who, even Anvil, all the way through. How does it feel to be a Canadian band trying to promote yourself?
Oh man, it's been awesome. We actually never been to the States because it's such a hassle.
Who's got the record?
You have to get a visa. Well, it's not even that. You just have to have a visa, and it's a big pain in the ass. And we've been to Europe a couple times now, and you just go and play. It's not a big deal. But in America, it's like you're taking jobs from American citizens, and you play in the States. So, but hopefully soon.
So again, why don't you introduce yourselves and the members of the band? So
I'm Dan Cleary. I'm lead vocalist.
I'm Tim Brown. I'm one of the lead guitars.
New guy. Yeah, the newbie. We got the newbie with us.
Yeah. We've known Tim for a long time. He's actually Adam, our drummer's brother.
Okay.
And yeah, like we kind of grew up together in the scene, and sort of he and our other guitar player just he's getting married and stuff. So he's got different life things going on, and then Tim was an obvious choice.
There you go. As you know, Striker made our top 10 up-and-coming Canadian groups. Their album made our top 10 for 2012. Armed to the Teeth, got it right here. Great album. You gotta buy this. It's one of the best albums of 2012. Guys, economically wise, what's it like to be a touring young Canadian band with the industry today? Hey,
No comment.
We just saw 4 bands for $10, guys. So how do you do it? What's the merchandise, guys?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of what helps is it's definitely that, like people supporting the band, like especially what'll happen is not a lot of people will come and get merch from us, but then we'll play, and then people are like, oh, I want to get some merch. Right. So that is a huge part. Actually, that's the only thing we survive on is people coming in and saying, you know what, I loved it, let me get an album and a shirt, and that's like the best support we can get.
Before these guys went on, they had the Breakfast of Champions, pizza and beer. Okay, I think that's what they're subsisting on these days. And what, like 5 guys in a room maybe, or sleeping in the car, or?
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah, who's the one that's got the smelliest feet?
We're all pretty smelly.
It's all pretty bad.
I do my best not to wear socks or shoes.
Who's the most likely to take somebody's toothbrush, stick it out their ass, and then just laugh about it later?
Oh man, I don't even know. We hope nothing like that goes on.
The stories of touring across Canada. So where are you going next? Where can people find you? You're out there touring. We want to promote Striker, a great Canadian band. You get a chance opportunity. The show's just fresh. These guys are still sweating here. We want you to go out and check them out. So what's coming up next? Where are you?
Tomorrow night we're playing in Toronto, and then what's this? Hamilton. Hamilton's in a couple of days. We got a day off in Toronto.
We got Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh yeah.
And Saskatoon. Then we go back to Alberta and play Woodstock, which is
right. Exactly. Yeah.
And they're letting us play the main stage.
Great.
So we'll see how they like our heavy metal on the main stage.
That's it. The Metal Boys. We did the top Canadian bands. That's what I loved about it. Historically, it's been Toronto centric. We got bands coming, Cauldron out of Toronto. We got other bands coming out of Saskatchewan. You guys are from Alberta. This is a vibrant Canadian scene. How do you, you're good friends with Cauldron, Skullfist probably, I bet. So now how does that play into the Canadian scene? How do you see it today?
It's sort of like been growing since we started. When we started, it was very like sort of, I don't know, we were just doing it because we wanted to do it, and we were like, this is the style of music, and then we realized like, oh, there's other people doing the same type of thing, and then it was just easy to connect with them because it was like, well, yeah, obviously we're gonna play a show together because we like each other, we like each other's bands, so that's sort of how it's just kind of evolved into a little community now. It just keeps growing. It's awesome.
It's a national beer drinking league.
Yeah. National beer drinking league.
They're out there touring with Diamonds. You got to go out and check this show out. It's highly recommended. I mean, these guys put on a great show. And anything we can do to promote Canadian metal and Striker, that's what we're about here at the Metal Voice. So thanks for tuning in, and thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Very nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And thanks, Claude.
Alan, that was a wonderful interview. You look great. You know, I mean, it was
you can see that they were straight off the stage.
That's
grabbed
right.
them after the show. The only way they make money, they sat there all night by their swag booth with the T-shirts and the caps and hoping that somebody would come along. And the crowd.
There you were, Alan.
Yeah.
There you were.
Yeah, got the shirt, got the CD. Hopefully some other people did too. But a small crowd, maybe 40 people, 50 people, depending on which band was playing. And it's a tough life, but when you're young, you can do it. So
it's amazing because we have fans all around the world that watch this show, and they all know Striker.
That's right.
But they try to play in their hometown in Canada, and you think they get like 10,000 people, and it's not because of their music. It's just the way the industry is today. You just can't get these young, amazing bands enough exposure, and that's the problem. It's definitely not the music. It's definitely not the live act. It's the whole music industry.
But as you mentioned in the interview, they're starting to see a networking happening here in Canada. And again, that's the metal community. That's how it started, and that's how it continues to grow. We can help you promote your band. You help us to promote ours, and that's what the Metal Voice is all about as well. But they are starting to see this network that is happening. Like we spoke about Cauldron, Skullfist, all these other bands that we covered as well. They're out there plugging away. Heroics, another one. Borealis, they're all in the same vein. They're out there plugging away, trying to get cross promotion because that's the only way they can do it right now. So
there you have it, Striker. Check out their new album. Well, it's a little old now, but it's Armed to the Teeth. Phenomenal. Their newest album, phenomenal. And also check out Queensryche, fronted by Todd La Torre. De La Torre, is that the pronunciation? De La Torre.
I get in trouble. We get letters every time we try to pronounce it.
Anyways, that album's coming out, or it is already out. Pick that up as well. And thank you for watching another edition of The Metal Voice.